Hi guys, we're back with another Crafty Twins mood board challenge. This is mood board number 6. Can you believe we've been doing this for 6 months already? Here's the mood board that we're working from this month. I really love the graphic elements on it as well as the blue and yellow, so I think that's the angle I'm going to take. I especially love those yellow letters up there. So I have got my photo, which just happens to match the mood board perfectly, and I've also grabbed some papers that I've had lying around that match the mood board. Now there's some stamping showing through on the right hand side of this page, so I am going to cover that up with some of this blue paper. It's hard to see it on camera, but I can see it in real life, so I am just going to trim out a piece of this blue paper. I think it was from a messy kit, I think, so it matched perfectly and was lying around, so that's going on that side. If you'd like to work with this mood board as well, head on over to my Facebook page and you can grab a copy of it there. And don't forget to tag us in when you do that, because we really love to see what it is that you make. I'm just about to glue this down when I realise what I wanted to do was stamp on the side, so I'm not going to glue that down just yet. I'm going to use this Nuts About Food set from Kelly Stamps, and I'm going to do a bit of repeat stamping on the left hand side. I had this striped paper that I want to use to map my photo, so I want to just make sure that my stamping is on the same angle as that. So I've just laid my stamp down on the stripe before I put it onto my block, and that way those angles will all match up and just look a bit more cohesive. And then I can just go ahead and repeat stamp this entire page. So I'm using a blue ink as well, so both sides of the page are going to be blue but just have a slightly different pattern. And as you can see, because I'm gluing paper down onto the right hand side, I'm not worried about masking it off or anything. I've just stamped the entire page full of Don't Judge Me stamps. And now I can go ahead and stick this paper down, which tidies the edge up and makes it all look much neater than it really was. Just peel off the tape. So I added some tape to the edge of the book rather than the paper because I hadn't really measured it properly, just roughly guessed it so that I can trim it down with my scissors and it will sit flush. And now I can go ahead and mat my photo. I think this was a piece of packaging that Essie sent me actually, and I kept it because it's such a beautiful yellow stripe pattern, and it turns out it was perfect for this. I had picked out a couple of tags from my stash as well, just that bring in a little bit of that pink from the mood board. So I'm just gonna layer them behind here. What I realise I haven't done is cut this piece down to mat it before I go ahead and stick that on, and then can't trim it because there's a tag there. So luckily I caught that in time and I can trim that down and then stick my piece down. So I've just stuck one tag behind the photo, and then I'm going to mat that on the yellow paper, and then I'm going to add the second tag behind there just to really get some layering happening. And then this piece is all ready to stick down on my page. So that's really all there is to my right hand side of the page here. It's pretty simple. On the left hand side is where I was going to put my title, but I want my title today to be a funny quote. So I had just gone onto Google and Googled funny donut quotes and come up with a few that I liked, but the one I liked the best said eat more whole foods. So that's what I'm going to go with. And instead of stamping my title onto the page, I kind of liked the hand-cut lettering look on the mood board of those yellow letters. So I sort of wanted to replicate that a little bit. And I had thought I might actually just hand-cut some letters out of this yellow paper. But then I decided, rather than being quite so literal about it, I was going to stamp tone on tone onto the yellow paper and then just hand trim them out. So I'm literally just doing one word, just to see how it looks, and if I'm happy with it, which I am, I'll carry on and do the other ones. Otherwise, my plan was to try out the hand lettering, but I just really like the way that this turned out, so I'm going to carry on and do the other 3 words. And here's where I got carried away being totally correct, and I start spelling whole as in whole. when what I really meant was whole. You can see I spot my error before I get too carried away, so I have managed to spell whole as in hole in a donut, and then I can just stamp out foods. I quite like stamping titles like this onto a separate paper because you can see how many mistakes I've made here. The stamping's not that great. I almost made a spelling error, and none of it matters because I can just move on to another piece on the paper and try again. So there was definitely a lot less pressure with this one. And so now all I'm going to do is trim out those other 3 words. I'm just freehanding that with my scissors. I'm not being like terribly pedantic about it, just rough enough. And then once all 3 words are cut out, well 4 now, I can work out where they're going to go on my page. So I know they're going to go on the left, I just didn't know whether I wanted them centered or aligned to the left, and I think I like them aligned to the left best. So to stick them down, I'm literally just using a little bit of double-sided tape. I'm not going too crazy with the tape. I sort of want them to look like they're floating a bit, like they're not totally stuck down and flat. I love those sort of shadows behind it, and again, it echoes the words that are on the mood board. Don't forget to head over and check out Essie's take on this challenge. It is so beautiful. I'll leave the link down below. And I felt like this just needed a little something extra, so I went into my stash to try and find some enamel dots that were the right shade of pink, and I found these super old ones. So I'm just going to sprinkle them about the page, much as you would sprinkle a donut. And apart from these 2 here, which I struggle with so badly, those tiny little ones, I should have got my tweezers out, but I didn't. And that's it, that's the page all done. If you liked this video, I'd really love it if you gave it a thumbs up. And if you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.